thought it would be important to be able to listen to Middle English poetry, since this course is also about how poets constructed their poems. The versification system, we call it accentual syllabic. I'm not going to call it iambic pentameter because there is one element that makes it very different. The Middle English line is 99% isosyllabic. And isosyllabic means that each line will have the same syllabic count. In other words, every line will have the same number of syllables. In Chaucer, that means it's either going to be decasyllabic, which means 10 syllables, or octosyllabic, which means 8 syllables. But mostly the poetry we're going to be thinking about and talking about is decasyllabic, because iambic pentameter is ultimately a decasyllabic variation. That means all you have to do is count syllables. Let me first show you a French version and an English version. Chaucer's Fortune includes a French line. J'ai tout perdu mon temps et mon labour. As weal or woe, now pauvre and now honor. This wretched world's transmutation. The line is also split by a caesura into two half lines. In the French tradition, the metrical pause, the caesura, usually shows up after the fourth syllable. This is Chaucer's French. J'ai tout perdu mon temps et mon labour. You can hear that pause after the perdu, after the fourth syllable. J'ai tout perdu mon temps et mon labour. As weal or woe, now pauvre, now honor. Obviously it's here. This is an example, seeing that comma is a grammatical pause, but let me make a point that the manuscripts do not include commas. Commas is not a medieval punctuation, but you can hear it as weal or woe, now pauvre, now honor. Ne m'est not done me singing though I die. Ne m'est not done. There's the caesura. Ne m'est not done me singing though I die. Ne m'est not done me singing though I die. These are all examples of a caesura after the fourth syllable on a decasyllabic line. However, poets are always searching for ways to add variety to the line. Monotony is what a poet is always trying to avoid. So that 4-6 caesura, the caesura after the fourth syllable, can also be kind of mobile. You will find in French poetry as well a 6-4 inverted caesura. You may also find what is called a coupe italienne or medial caesura. That's a caesura that is after the fifth, that is a caesura after the fifth syllable. And then sometimes you're going to find in Chaucer, you never find this in Shakespeare, ternary caesuras. That means caesuras after the third syllable, and sometimes you'll even find two. In fact, I found you'll occasionally find two groups of two making up four. There's a lot of variety and experimentation in Middle English poetry. This wretched world, this transmutation. Can you hear the pause? This wretched world, this. Notice in this case, the caesura is after the fifth syllable. We call this a coupe italienne or medial caesura. The third rule of this accentual syllabic verse, the line's rhythm or cadence is found in the alternation of weakly accented syllables, that's, we mark those with W's, and strongly accented syllables, we mark those as S. And together, those weak and strong syllables, or two syllables together, we call a foot, and a foot of weak and strong syllables is called an iamb, and the iamb is the dominant rhythmic feature of Middle English poetry. So iambic pentameter means 5 feet of iambs. Iambs are 2 syllables, 1 weak, 1 strong, 5 of them, that's 10. It's the decasyllabic line that is being given another layer, and that's a rhythmic layer based on the strength of the syllables, not just their counting. This is where it differs from French poetry. This is an easy one because grammatical function words, words that you use all the time, like conjunctions and prepositions, they maintain their weak stress status, and strong nouns and adjectives and verbs maintain their status, their strength. As wheel or woe, now pauvre, and now honor. We don't say honor, we say honor. The French words are sometimes given a left Germanic stress when needed, and sometimes will get their original French or Romance right stress when needed. In this case, the final syllable must be strong because it needs to take the rhyme, and so it becomes honor. Weak, strong stress, this iambic stress, which is the dominant rhythmic pattern of this poetry, you have to remember that weak, strong is always relative because weak, strong is found in a foot. Because the and on their own are grammar words, functional words, they are weak. I'm going to use a different kind of notation just for this one. We use this as well for weak, or we can use this. You can choose whichever one you want. But they are both weak words on their own. Dittos with these adjectives and nouns, they're strong. Use a different notation. And red is strong on its own. I'm just using 2 different notations so that you can choose which one you prefer. Now, when you put 2 weeks in 1 foot, the iambic rhythm takes over. And what we have is what we call promotion. One of those weeks has to be promoted to a strong because of that necessary rhythm that takes over the line, that weak, strong, iambic rhythm. So what happens is, and stays weak, and then the gets a little push. So it's not and the, it's and the. Do you hear that? And that's relative. So 2 weeks become weak, strong. We have a similar phenomena with 2 strongs. When 2 strongs are brought into a foot, one of them has to be demoted. And so to maintain that weak, strong rhythm, red lessens its strength a bit, and car maintains its strong, and we have not red car. You might find that in Old English, but here we have red car. Slight demotion, a slight lessening of the stress in red. Just so you can understand what I mean by this relativity of stress as it relates within the foot, I am not saying that the stress in the, so this and the red car, I am not saying that the is equal in strength to the car, nor am I saying that red is as weak as and. This is about maintaining a certain rhythm. If I use 1 to represent the weakest, and I use 4 to represent the strongest stress, then you can see how this relativity works. And obviously is the weakest because it's traditionally weakest, the slight bump. And car, of course, would be the strongest. Red is a slight demotion. And the red car, and the red car. Let's put in a polysyllabic word, since most words are not going to be monosyllabic or one-syllable words. Looking at their natural stress on their own. The is weak. Regarding has 3 syllables. Re, which of course is the grammatical part. Guard, that's the root part, that's where the strength is. Regarding and ing, that's like ly, that's a li, that's a grammatical part. And then we have car, bread. Now let's take those 6 syllables and put them into feet. Regarding the red car. Regarding the red car. So here is following the normal natural stress. The grammatical ending, ing is weak. Slight promotion here with the. Red, slight demotion because of the fact that it is grouped with car. If we were going to do the numbering system, this is the most normal one. 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. With polysyllabic words or words with multiple syllables, this wretched world is transmutation. And notice that the coupe italien, that caesura stops on a weak, and then the second half line starts on a strong. Now here's some promotions. Ne may not done may sing in though I die. These are the feet. And the promotion is here, and the promotion is here to maintain that rhythm. Ne may not done me singing though I die. What makes this poetry different from iambic pentameter of the Renaissance period is that a feature of stress found in French poetry, we call it phrasal stress, can also be heard as a variant in Middle English verse. French poetry does not use syllabic, weak, strong rhythms. French poetry's rhythms are based on where they're positioned along the line. And the strongest stresses are found for the caesura and at the end of the line. And then you'll find a small little stress between that 4th syllable and 10th syllable. It can be on the 6th, it can be on the 7th, it can be on the 8th syllable. It creates a different rhythm. You're allowing for function words to maintain their weakness. It's a different rhythm. Just to let you know, tout's a function word, mol's a function word, et's a function word, mol's a function word. J'ai tout perdu, mon temps et mon labour. J'ai tout perdu, mon temps et mon labour. It's a very different rhythm. This can be turned into iambic pentameter if we promote and demote. J'ai tout perdu, mon temps et mon labour. And the promotions would be here, but that's not a French rhythm. We find this French rhythm as well in Chaucer and in Middle English poets. Let's not rush in and start promoting weak syllables like you find in Shakespeare. Let's allow that weakness to be part of its sound effect. Ne may not done me singing though I die. Ne may not done me singing though I die. That is a French sound. That's French phrasal stress in English. If we avoid promotion and demotion and allow for the weakly stressed sound of Chaucer, then perhaps we're actually listening to an overtly French metrical system overlaid onto English. Chaucer's poetry has always been considered rather light. It usually has 4 stresses, maybe 3 strong stresses. The iambic pentameter system makes us promote those weak stresses. In the next episode, I will look at some trickier examples.
Alright guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell.